All right, let's go to Thursday night tonight. San Francisco on the road at Tennessee. 49ers favored by 3, 44.5 is the over-under. I could pick a Thursday night game with you guys. Very exciting. This one airs on NFL Network, and then that's it for Thursday night games. And the rest for history are on Amazon. But anyway, NFL Network has this. It ends up being a good one. I'm taking the Titans. I'm buying a 0.5 point. Oh, my God, that worked out so well on Monday when I bought the 0.5 point to bring the Bears to 7. And they didn't wind up kicking the extra point because they knew I took it to 7. And they lost by 8, right? So anyway, that doesn't really matter. I'm buying it anyway. Titans plus 3.5. I think too many people in love with this 49ers team. They've been good. It just seems like 3 days ago, we were making fun of Shanahan's winning percentage, right? Rich Kotite-esque numbers. All of a sudden, the Titans need this game. The Colts are creeping up on them. They're not aware of the Colts result. Saturday, that's a Saturday game. So I think Vrabel outcoaches Shanahan. I know their yards per game or yards per carry have gone down like a full yard since Henry went out. But Foreman and Hilliard, don't forget, they had 240 versus the Pats. Those two, they had 270 overall, I think the Titans did. They could run. They just fumbled the hell every single possession. So, and I get it that they have linemen out. Elijah Mitchell is out for the 49ers. I feel like I was able to gauge injuries better. It seems like, you have injuries. Oh, boy, that's going to be a disadvantage. Well, the Eagles were on their 5th guard and ran all over Washington. And the Bears D-backs were out. And, Cousins, the Vikings won, but Cousins put up pedestrian numbers. I don't know what to think anymore. San Francisco won 7-1 against the number in its last 9 against Tennessee. That's my Harry bet. That dates back many, many years. But the Titans are, in fact, 5-1 straight up in their last 6 home games. I like Tennessee to win this 30-26. Parlay Kid, you're jumping on with me. I don't know. You're not buying the 0.5 point, though. Probably smart.
No, I'm not going to buy the 0.5 point here, Sal. This is an interesting matchup. I think this is a really nice Thursday night matchup for us here tonight. I think people I haven't really been a huge Tennessee fan this year, but I think people seem to be writing them off. They are 9-5, and they are home. They are getting A.J. Brown back. They have played well against some of the best teams in football. It's kind of they've had a bunch of letdown games against some teams, the weaker teams where they haven't played well. They seem to rise to the occasion against the good teams. Their running game has actually been okay without Henry. They're still running the ball very well. I think they're down one more lineman tonight as I'm reading the reports. I think another starter might be out with COVID. But like you said, it really hasn't affected the teams greatly. I think they're the home team. They're 9-5, getting 3 points. I got to take them on a Thursday night here, Sal. I think that's the way to go. I think Tannehill's also due to play a better football game. Now that he's got Brown back, I know Brown might not be 100% or fully effective, but it still makes everybody else better around him. So let's take the Titans getting 3 at home tonight against the 49ers.
There you go. All right, Harry, you disagree with me and the Bartley Kid.
Look, it does make sense what you guys said about, Tennessee, home underdog. Again, maybe bounce back after they look so awful, especially in the second half against Pittsburgh. But those turnovers just killed them. They have lost 3 of the last 4. The one win was against Jacksonville. I'm riding still with San Francisco. This team is one of the hottest teams in the NFL. They've won 5 of 6. They've scored 30 or more in 4 of those wins. Jimmy G's been very efficient. And Tannehill, Darren, I know you make a good point. Tannehill maybe, but still, just last 4 weeks, 2 touchdown passes, 6 picks. Can't do it. I'm riding with the Niners still.
All right, brother Bry, you like the Niners as well.
Yeah, I'm taking the Niners too. Yeah, it makes sense that Tannehill's struggled with that as weapons, but he's really struggled. And he's not the type of quarterback that seems like he can carry a team when other pieces are missing. But yeah, it's been a bad 4 weeks for them. They're averaging only 15 points per game in those 4 games. They've lost 3 of 4. Now you're facing a San Francisco team that's won 5 of 6, has covered 5 of 6, and they have all their main skill guys going. And the one thing about San Francisco is they're one of the best teams against the run. So I think this is going to put a lot of pressure on Tannehill's shoulders tonight. And again, he's been bad. He has 14 interceptions and only 14 touchdown passes, and I think he has 11 interceptions in the last 9 games. So I'm gonna ride with the 49ers here.
Definitely a different team without Derrick Henry. They get him back in a couple of weeks, which really vaults them to the top. I don't care what position they're in. That's a team that can win 3 playoff games in a row. That's a thing, right? We look for the AFC. But as far as tonight goes, all right, we're split on that. I like it. If we're all 4 on the same, we lose for sure. All right, we're back. Prop wise, lots of talk about Tannehill throwing the ball. I think he's going to run. He's going to scramble for his life, especially with the offensive line issues. I think when the opportunity presents itself, and the parlay kid and I agree, when you see 20 yards of daylight in front of you, he seems to be one of the few that will take that opportunity and scamper and run for a first down. I like him over 14.5 rushing yards. Last 3 games, 18, 29, and 24. So he's in there. I don't know why this is so low. Yeah. I think it should be a little higher. Matt Ryan ran for 20. Russ ran for 15 against this 49ers defense 2 of the last 3 weeks. So I'm going Tannehill over 14.5 rushing yards. That's my pick for the prop for the game. All right, parlay kid, you got a winner here too, I think.
Yeah, I like Deebo Samuel at plus 100 anytime touchdown scorer. All of a sudden, this wide receiver's become a running back. They run that jet sweep play where they pull like 3 different linemen. And he's been scoring at will from 20 yards out, even on that play. I mean, he can catch it long, he can catch it short. I'd be shocked if this guy, I think I'm trying to look it up right now. I don't want to, I'm sorry, but he's scored touchdowns in at least 3, 4, 5, maybe
5 straight. 5 rushing touchdowns in 5 straight. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And he's got what, 12 total on the season so far?
Yeah.
I believe insane. So. He's a touchdown machine right now. So even though I like Tennessee in this game to cover, I like Samuel to score. Even plus 100, Sal, even odds here.
Yeah.
Anytime touchdown. I love this. We should all hammer this one tonight, guys.
Yeah, I really like it. I bet it on Fox Bet Live. I emailed it in. Nice, I like that. Nice. Harry, you like the rushing, receiving yards combined for Deebo?
Yeah, over 83.5. It really is the MVP on this team. Has 4 100-yard games receiving this year. 3 of them, 150 or more. He's 4-1 in the last 5 road games, going over 83.5 yards, rushing and receiving combined. Just a special player who can do both. He's played great at night, too, when he's played this year. He's had big games, big numbers. Deebo Samuel, over 83.5 rushing and receiving yards combined at minus 113.
Tied for 11th rushing touchdowns. 7.
Wow.
Crazy.
7. That's insane. Like behind like Fournette and Zeke and Eckler and Henry and Mixon and Taylor. It's crazy names. Those are the only ones really
better than Zeke. Better than Zeke.
All right, Brother Bry. You have Brandon Ayuk. You and I are going head to head in fantasy. You have Ayuk. I have Deebo. And look at this. You're stacking it. No emotional hedge here. You're going Ayuk over.
It's funny. I still have to make that decision whether or not I'm starting him.
Oh, really? Well, I feel like you've made it. You have you're betting him over 20.5 the longest reception.
I know. Well, the thing is, right. So last week, he didn't even have a good week last week, but he still had a big catch. He only had 1 catch, but he had 1 big catch for them.
Right.
And I think I made that mistake with Devonta Smith the other day, taking the over yards versus the longest reception. So Ayuk has had a catch of 21 or more. So I'm taking him over 20.5 yards, longest reception, but he's had a catch of 21 or more yards in 8 straight games.
Wow.
Tennessee has been one of the worst defenses against wide receivers. So I think he's going to get one big play here. I do kind of like, we didn't really talk about it, but I do kind of like Tannehill interception too here. It's like minus 135 or something like that. He is, I think, 11 in the last 9 games.
You don't even have to put a stat up there. The quarterback, just in general, has been bad. I mean, I wonder if you bet every starter to throw an interception, if you'll go like to 21 and 11 or something, right? Would that even make sense? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a good one. Our over 20.5 longest reception. Let's go to first touchdown. Man, I don't want to say we got screwed, but that was awful Tuesday night. So we had 2 games. So DJ Dallas scores the first touchdown in one of them in the Seattle game, right?
Yep. Right.
And then who scored first in the
Gibson?
I guess he's their starting running back, but we should get scrub insurance on the first touchdown. When guys who have like a combined 3 touchdowns all year through week 15 score. But anyway, all right. So that was an offer we took. We have been pretty successful in general, still like plus 60 something units, I would say. throughout the year if you just bet each of our first touchdown selections. And I'm a lot of love for Debo here. 6-1 odds. I know it's low. I want to cash in here. Like I said, rushing touchdown in 5 straight games, which makes him a ridiculous threat in the red zone for as good as a receiver he is. Jimmy G should be looking his way if they get down and have the ball early down by the goal line. 6-1. Parlay Kid, you're going Tannehill first touchdown.
Yeah, well, so I do like that Debo at 6-1. I actually think that's pretty good value for a guy with 12 touchdowns. I think we've seen that number at like plus 450 or plus 5-1 lately with a guy that's got 12. So I do like that at 6-1. And Sal, look, when was the last time we could get a guy at 17-1 like Tannehill to score the first touchdown? That's got 7 rushing touchdowns on the year. This is great value for a player with 7 touchdowns. You would not probably find this anywhere else with these type of odds with a guy with that amount of touchdowns. He's had 1 each in the last 2 games. He's more of a threat to run the ball without Henry. You've said he's been running it more. And he is. Without Henry, he's certainly more of a threat to tuck the ball and run. If they're on the 1-yard line, he's more of a threat to sneak without Henry in the game. So let's take Tannehill at 17-1. I think this is very good value for a guy who has scored in half the games he's played this year.
Right. All right, Harry. And you're I think we sure up the 49er touchdown thing because you're taking Kittle here.
Yeah, Kittle at plus 750. He scored in 5 of the last 7 games. He scored first in the night game of the blowout when they beat up on the Rams. Him and Garoppolo have looked good, totally in sync in the second half of the year. Kittle at plus 750.
All right, Brother Bry, you're taking a wild swing here.
Well, I'm doing it again. I'm doing it again. The last time we had the San Francisco, I took Kyle Juszczyk, and I'm taking him again at 28-1. I do really like the Tannehill one. He has 6 touchdowns in the last 8 games rushing, so which is really good for him. But of course, Juszczyk last week scored the first touchdown in last week's game against the Falcons. But if down on the goal line again, similar to last week, there's a myriad of ways he can get the ball. He's kind of like almost, a cross between a running back and a tight end. He's kind of like a second tight end when they're down on the goal line here. So when I looked at the odds, Juszczyk I like over there's names on here you wouldn't even know who half of these guys are. About 10 different guys ahead of him, which I don't like the odds for. So I think Juszczyk at 28-1. Still, again, I'm going to ride him again.
All right, let's do it. Let's win today, guys. This is all we got is this first touchdown thing. We can't lose like 4 of the last 5 games. So I think we got it bookended. So we'll put that graphic up. You guys could bet away on it and do it at FanDuel